But there's few names on it, as you get it, don't know.
Yes, yes, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
You think you probably writing, yes, it's a bit, yes. Talk to everybody.
Yes, that's right.
We're on live, Bob.
We're ready to go?
We're on live.
Okay.
I'm just going to go at the back and I'll come back.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. This morning we're very lucky to have a lady here, Wendy. Donald gets to talk on the Drung settlement and a lot of the other settlements that have been around the winter, dry and wet. And yeah, okay, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks, Wendy.
No
All
worries.
yours.
Now, I don't know whether you need, can everyone hear me or would you rather me? Is it better? Better on that? Is that working?
Yeah.
That working all right? Yep. Now, I did have, originally I did have, well, I better introduce, I'm Wendy Donald, those that don't know me, but most of you probably do know me. But I did have a connection with way back with my family because my grandparents lived out there in the early 1900s and they had land that was near the golf course, 600 or so, 630 acres or something near the golf course, which is now the Drung golf course. And my father went to the Drung school, which was one near the river, which was actually the second Drung school. And I didn't know very much at all about the rest of Drung, except I did have friends that were on the irrigation property, the Kellets, but I didn't know a lot until the Historical Society started talking about a book. Lorna Woodhart's husband, Ted, had started a book on Drung, but unfortunately he became ill and died before he got his dream to do the book. They had a fair bit of information. Lorna was a great help with the book, and so were a lot of other Drung people, because we visited families out there, and for over 2 years. Helen Kirkpatrick and myself had just finished with writing the Haven book in 2009, and I had done a book on Lower Norton in the meantime. And in 2012, there were talks on a book on Drung, but unfortunately they didn't have anyone to do it. So Helen Kirkpatrick and myself decided we'd do it, and it was a great adventure. I learned a lot, and it was really, really good adventure. Now, what else can I say? David, my husband, and I lived at Lower Norton. We organised with the Lower Norton people to put a stone on the Moody School, which was out between Vectis and Drung and Lower Norton. I'll get confused with the areas. And we'd also put a stone on the very first Darrington Lower Norton School, which didn't have a stone. The second Lower Norton School did, but not the first. And also we organised with David Eltrickham to put signs on Lower Norton. Lower Norton didn't have any signs. So then we had 3 stones and we didn't know what to do with the third one. We got three stones through the council, through David Eltrickham. And when it came about the Drung, we realised that the Drung school didn't have a stone. So David and I thought, that'll be a good rock for the Drung school. So that's how it all eventuated, getting the plaque on the school side. But we formed a committee. There was Barry Gross. This is in the picture here. There was Barry Gross, that's Helen Kirkpatrick, that's myself, and yeah, let's see. I have these blocks. Yeah.
That's covered.
No.
Yeah.
Max Cutter, yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear it right. Yeah, Max Cutter and of course Gear Lorna, who's passed away since. But the other four of us going quite strong. So I'll start with the slideshow and off we go. Now this is just a country school, no one in particular, but I just put it in to show. The very first Drung school was on the highway, the Melbourne Highway, and that's where the Drung South tennis courts, and there was a bit of a tree, patch there too, and there is a sign on that, which is a little bit wrong, but anyway. But this school, the first one on the highway, was moved out to Vectors, and that's it there. After going to Vectors, and it was added on to, as you can see, there was teachers' residence built on one end, and it was a much bigger school. Vectors had a population in those days. And this is a sign that was on the first Drung school on the highway, Melbourne Highway. And it just said that it was a Drung South School plantation, which it was. And it was formerly Drung South State School, but it's not. The Drung State School was on the corner of Laharam and the highway. The turn off to Laharam in the highway. So that was a bit incorrect, but it had the right number of the Drung school, but not the information. And this is the plaque that we had for the new Drung school. And that was the one down by the river near Grocers Bridge. You turn just before Grocers Bridge and it's down there on your left. The Max Johnson's son owns the property over the road from it. And we took the stone out there, and then the Rotary Club, Jim Hurd and the Rotary Club got what we wanted on the stone, and they sorted the stone out for us, and we paid for the stone. Helen Kirkpatrick and myself paid for most of the research and, posting letters for people. We sent everyone we did a story on, copy of the letter. We sent it to someone in their family, and they signed it or just okayed it, and we went ahead with the book. But with all history books that I've ever read, there's often minor mistakes, and people it's good in a way, but people always tell you when you made a little error that once it's in writing. But Helen Kirkpatrick and I think that if it's in history, if it's written down, a lot of it won't be lost. But a lot of history is lost, and that's really sad. Yep. Now, this is the site. I don't know whether anyone, there might be some people here that have been to the site of the school. But this is the site of the Drung school near Grocers Bridge. And that's with all schools. They always have the gum trees around. You can usually tell where they've been. And that's just another view of the site. And this is the school that was originally there. And as you see, very wet area that was. And that was during some floods. It always flooded in that area. And there's another picture of the school. They had to take off their shoes and walk to the school. More floods. And there we have, I'm not sure who that is, that would be Ted Woodhart outside the school, and that was in 1949. This is the inside of the school in 1950. we received so many beautiful photos from people in the area when we did the book. Don't know what that is. I don't know what the skin is on the wall. Does anyone know what it is? We think to have in the school, but anyway. And these are some of the children. I'll just this is Julie Gross and Lynette Tucker. The Tuckers lived over the river, more in Longanong sort of, but they attended, the school was the closest school to them. And the next one, we got some students. I will read them now. Ross Promnitz, Ellen McIntyre, Kath Carpenter, Peter Miller, Julie Gross, Lois Hobbs, Sue Smith, and Lynette Tucker. Now next we've got Rose. I always get tricked with names with that start with J, but anyway, we'll call him Graham Jost, and he's still alive. And I was talking to him recently. He's not in this area anymore, but he wanted querying something in the Historical Society. He was a teacher there for quite a few years. That's a picture of him. He was a teacher there. And there's another list of students. We've got Sharon McManus, Peter Tucker, that's right, John McIntyre, prominence, a boy prominence, Chris Miller, Colin Smith, Lynette Ray, Sharon McManus, Anne Buchanan, and Judy Carpenter, and Anne Longmire here front on the front there. And this is Lois Hobbs. Next we've got Sharon McManus and Julie Gross. You notice the old bikes, the good old pedal bikes that we all rode to school when we were young. Another group. And we've got Kath Carpenter, Baker Carlson, Sue Smith, Lois Hobbs, Lynette Tucker. And now this is Morris Boysless, June exam, and the teacher was Jay Hearn. That says Morris has done well during his first 6 months at school. Reading is his weakest subject. And that's just more of his cards. We've got special arts, I don't know what that is. Transcription, writing, spelling, poetry, number. No, some of these I don't even know what they are. Then art, woodwork, and music. But they had quite a few subjects, didn't they? If time permits, I will commence him on a grade 3 work. And by the end of next year, he should have completed grade 4 work. And that was Delma Young. Delma Young was a Haven person originally. She married a Young. Yeah. No, she was a Young and she married a Tucker, sorry. She married a Tucker and lived with one along. Just some more of Morris's schoolwork. He actually attended the school like unveiling. We had a very good turn up at the unveiling of the Drung school. And this is the Drung students at the showgrounds at the sports day. Does any of you remember the rotunda there at the footy grounds? No? That's gone now, which is sad, but I can remember it quite. It was there for, after 2000. That's just the sports day. Children watching. Marching. the country schools went quite a bit into the footy grounds in Horsham for things. I went to Haven School and we went to quite a few things there, pageants and all sorts of things. This is just some of them. If you look there, you'll see the O'Callaghan's parade in the background. And I think that building on your right at the back would be Randley's. And this one here shows the footy ground rooms and the couple of houses that were along that. They're gone now, well gone, but there used to be houses all along there, which are all now gone, of course. That's where the miniature railway is, in between the club rooms and that house there. Just some more of the sports, school sports. Now that's a very dark one, but it's not as dark on the screen as my computer. But that, if you see that big old board at the back with speakers on the top, that belonged to my uncle Potter, and Frank Potter, and he used to go around town advertising things, drive around in the car with these loudspeakers on top, and that's him sitting on the car there. All the students, and that's just, yeah, I think that's one. Now this is a picnics at the I think these were held, the school picnics of the Drung school were held at the Taylor Slate football ground. And you all remember going to your those that went, well, all schools went to picnics once a year. Haven School used to go out to near the quarry out to Mackenzie Creek, which a lot of schools did, even the Horsham ones. There's some people, time for an ice cream. And all on the swing, that's at Taylor Slate football ground. And we had some races. They had paper tearing competitions. To see, does anyone ever do one of those at the picnic? You see how long you could make a paper tear into a long thing, and then they would all line them up and judge the best, the longest. Yep. And that's the girls' race.
We used to get Minty's wrappers.
What was that?
Minty's wrappers.
And some more. You can see the old shed that used to be at the Taylor Slate ground. Now that's a teacher, Graham Jose again, and what he did at the picnics, he'd tie all lollies to him, and then he'd run, and the children would chase him and pull a lolly off his. It sounded like he was a good fun teacher. And this is the sack race. Remember, I think that's the sack. I don't know. It's a race anyway. And the wheelbarrow race, that's the ladies' wheelbarrow race. And you notice the dresses. Yeah, they always got dressed up for the school picnics, and there was always hats. You always had a hat. And that's just more races. And that's the men's wheelbarrow race. And afternoon tea. Sorry, that's not a very good quality but the picnics were always well known for their beautiful cooking. I don't know whether you were all good cooks, but I'm not. But my mother was a beautiful cook, and so were all the Haven Mothers Club ladies. And obviously the Drung ladies look good. Good cooks by the look what's on the table. Now we're back at the school, and this would be the football at the school in the mud. And that's well, I've got that one. Oh, that's just afternoon tea. The school, I don't know. But here we go. Now we have here schoolboys. That's Peter Miller. Do any of you know Peter Miller? Yeah. Well, that's Peter as a boy. And I'm not sure who the other boy is, but Peter's often come to school apparently in the car. He didn't have to walk or ride horses or bikes like the others. Yeah, we got
That one McIntyre.
It could be. It could be. That name does sound familiar. I thought I had it written down, but obviously I haven't. School children in that school group. It's the school group. I have got the names of all these, but I didn't bother bringing it along today. But that's another school group out in the. You notice that the it's just dirt. Must have been summer, I think. That's the basketball at the school. Small children. If I read out the names, I haven't got the names to that group, but some of you would know these people in the classroom. And this is the parents at the day. This must have been some special day. But you notice the cars in the background. And this was a dog show at the school. They all brought along their dogs and had a show. Now we're at the Taylor Slope Hall. That was taken in 2012, and there's still quite a bit of activity at the hall. One of the few halls that's been kept up to date. And they played the football ground, the original Drung football ground was near the hall. Didn't have any club rooms or anything. And this is did I jump on anything? Yeah, this is a Christmas party at the hall. And another group, dress-ups. Dress-ups. Now this is the parents who were also dressed up. I don't know what some of them are meant to be, but very well tied. And some more. They even had the false moustaches, those clowns. But they had a lot of fun in the country halls in those days. Split through these, the same thing. Some nurses. Very. The boys had. Now you might know some of these people. These are the Drung CWA Drung ladies. There's Nita Barley at the end there. I have got the names, but I don't know them all. And we have
Guy Fisher, was it? Guy Fisher.
yeah, Guy's there, and Nancy Meebus, yes, Nancy Cameron, I think she wasn't she?
Mm.
Yeah. But these ladies were amazing. They used to come. You know some of them, do you? Probably all of them. Yeah, no, they were a tremendous group, and they used to come into the day centre. I worked at the day centre for 26 years, and they used to put on these concerts and skits, and laugh. They'd get up to anything, those ladies. And when we were doing the Drung book, Gay Fisher was just absolutely amazing. And yeah, so was Nita Barley. Nita was nearing 90 or in her 80s anyway, and she gave us some wonderful pictures of maps and that further over her way. Barley's lived off the western to the south of the Western Highway, the Melbourne Highway. And that's some of the men with the old Drung school site. Yeah, I was on the school actually, that sign apparently. And that was the one that was on the school on the Melbourne Highway, that sign, very old sign. Now this is the Drung South School plaque. And as I said before, it's where you turn off it to Laharam. I'll see if I can get it. Oh, well, I've got the plaque. What's written on it anyway? I think the third one. I'll show it to you further on. Now, the Drung Weir was built in 1903, and that was near Grocers Bridge. It wasn't as I think you know a bit about that, didn't you?
One of the compensation weirs, what they call the compensation weirs they put along the River.
Oh, yes.
The reason for it being, in the early days, the landholders out around Horsham and east of Horsham were starting to divert the water.
Oh, yeah.
And because the blokes further down were going to cook us up range of Parrot and Bull.
Holding up the water.
They said, well, you know, you've got to cut that out. They're taking it and put it in that you're building lakes there to hold it.
Yeah.
So the government put some money aside, and in 1903, as you say, they built all compensation weirs on the Parrot weir, Antwerp weir, and Bull weir, and Process Bridge.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. Now, this is what was left of it. This was in 2013. It's looking south. When we did the Drung book, Helen Kirkpatrick and I would go out in the car and we'd drive around and we'd take photos and we'd go in perhaps where we shouldn't have went, but we were only taking photos. A couple of and we'd leave Lorna in the car and we'd say, Lorna, we'll be back. And we'd climb the fences and just take photos. And we got caught a couple of times, but when we explained what we were doing, twice we got caught by people that I knew and they said, oh, just go ahead, you know. And the third time we got caught and it was by one of the grocers I didn't know. But no, he was fine. He said, I'm just taking a picture of the old building here. But no, we did get permission when we could, but we didn't always know who owned that land now. We knew who owned it once, but not now. But anyway, we got some great photos. That's another picture of the weir that's on the north side of the river. That's still there, part what's left of it, of course. And just close it on what's left, ruins of it. Now that's a picture of the bridge, Process Bridge. How would you like to go over that, hey? It doesn't look too safe. And there's floods at the old bridge. I wouldn't like to go across it when it was in flood. But anyway, eventually they built the new one. And that's just showing just a post that was part of the old bridge, which was a lot lower than the new Process Bridge. And that's just an entry to the old bridge, the first bridge at least, and just the post there. That's a guidepost of the original road to the old bridge. And that's a new Process Bridge built in 1963. And that's Sherwood Gross, taken at the Gross property, house. And this is one of the wagons that was in at Barry's house in town, in the shed. And that was one of the Gross family wagons that carried their belongings on when they come to the area. Imagine travelling in that with all your belongings. And that's the Gross. Do you know who they are? That couple, I should.
Laurie Gross.
Is it?
Laurie Gross and wife is Jenny.
It's what? Yeah, I wasn't sure which one it was when I was doing this, the name. And that's a Gross wedding. Barry was a great help on the committee. And so was Max Cullahy, because Max was a teacher at the school. Yeah, and he was a great help. He was such good fun. I still see him occasionally, but no, he was great. Now, this is Polly, one of the, I think might be Barry's grandmother, and that was with Barry's daughter, Melissa. Now, we go back to a bit of history, and that's Grocers again. And this is the original Gross that come to the area. Is that better now? I'm talking more into it. That was the original Gross that come to Drung, Frederick. And then they had a reunion, the Gross family, and that was out at Drung. Now we're moving over to near Green Lake, and this is the plaque at the Bethlehem Laharam Church. It's beside the Green Lake Cemetery behind Taylor's Lake football ground. And that church was there in 1871 to 1966. And this is another church. This is on beside Green Lake. I can't really explain it, but before you get to Green Lake, there's a road, and down there, and it was on the corner of a muddy road, and that was the other church, the other Lutheran church, St. Mark's Lutheran Church, down Green, and that was there from 1926 to 1972, and that church ended up way up north, up towards Hopeton Way. It was moved, the building was moved. And I had pictures somewhere of the last service they had there. Now, I don't know whether some of you will know that on the Melbourne Highway, there was some wine shanties. There was one there near Burnt Creek, and then there was 2 hotels at Green Lake, like one each side Green Lake. And then there was this wine shanty. That was called Sparks Hotel, and it was near the first Drung school, where that sign was, where the wooden sign was. Now the next picture is one of the Green Lake hotels in ruin. You've probably all seen that when you're driving past, and that was owned by the McLuhan's originally. One of the daughters or nieces of that McLuhan taught at the first Green Lake school, which was behind the footy ground there many years ago. Now this is just ruins at the hotel, and they had quite a few stables there. Oh, that's the old well. You've got to watch where you're walking through the long grass, because you don't end up in the well. This area is owned by the Jest family now. Now, this is another old room where we snuck into take photos. This is Bob Blake's house, and the ruins of this house is beside Dock Lake. And the Blakes were a well-known family in the area, very well-off family. And that's the back of the old house. Helen and I love these old houses. And I know we shouldn't, but we do go inside them. There's no signs telling you not to, so we just do. And that's just shedding, probably a dairy, where they milk the cow. Now, this is another house, another old ruin. This is the Blake Gross house in ruins on the Lubeck Road corner. And that's it today, about 2012. And this is it when it was standing. It was still a ruin, but it was standing. And that's just a wooden bridge across one of the channels. Now, this is the more of the old Blake's houses. This is on the highway, and it was built by John O'Brien Blake, and it was later leased by the Carlson's family. That was John and Harriet House. Harriet Carlson spent in the early 70s. I worked in Ward 6 it was nursing home type ward, and Harriet Carlson was in that ward, and she was a beautiful lady. She was completely with it, but she was physically unwell, but she could walk, and she always wanted to go home to this house, and she offered to hire me as a nurse to go and live with her, and I said, look, I'd love to, Harriet, but I have my husband and daughter to look after. So I said, unfortunately, I can't. But she was a dear lady until the day she died. She wanted to go home. And when her and her husband John were in this house, they had a beautiful garden, I'm told. And we took a photo of the drive-in. Oh, wait on. I jumped a couple there. We took a photo of the drive-in, and you can imagine what it was like, because that's just after a long, long time, since the 1970s, when she went into hospital, 1970. She had a beautiful garden, and you can imagine what it was like, and that's what's left of it in 2012. Now, this is more down around the lake, and this is the house that was once Fred Davenport. Does anyone remember a Fred Davenport? That's right, yes. And this is a picture of his school bus in Horsham in the day, probably in the 50s or 60s, I'd say. And now we move over to Donaldson's house. Donaldson's were, that was the land, I believe, that was used for one of the early soldier settlements. Their land was used, but this house in ruins is still there. And that's it. Yeah. Now, we always thought that was a tank. And I was talking to Jack Donaldson. He was over here getting information on the family. And he tells me it was an outdoor oven. I don't know how that worked, but that's what he said it was. We always believed it was an old tank. But, yeah, when you think about it, they probably cooked in the other side might have had holes, I don't know.
Is that the first pizza oven?
What was that?
Is that the first pizza oven?
Now, that's inside the Donaldson's house. Now, this, I don't know whether any of you remember this as the Drung homestead. The Drung homestead was originally built by some people called Simmons. Do any of you know installed the RSL building? It's a beautiful old homestead. Well, that was built by the Simmons family after they left Drung. And that was a beautiful, if anyone's been inside it was beautiful. And apparently this was once a beautiful home. But when the first settlers, the irrigation settlers now I'm talking about, when they first come to the area, one of the families were given the property that this house was on. But they pulled down the beautiful old house and they just built what everyone else in the irrigation settlement had. But Jimmy Kellett was, not Jimmy, but Jimmy's sister. She was telling me that that's John Kellett and Jimmy Kellett. And the first night they come to Drung, they had nothing, they just come and they were put up into this house for the night or maybe a couple of days. But of course they thought it was horrible because it was big and cold and, I don't think it probably would have had SEC running around with candles. But they did say that in the downstairs they had a row of bells and they were for the servants and they'd know which room the servant had to go to, which bell was ringing. Unfortunately, I never saw inside this house, but I think it would have been beautiful. Now, that's the Drung wool shed, the Drung. Yep, that's right. I'm right in saying that. Now, we've moved over now to Gay and Gus Fishers. Now, that was their soldier, their parents. Well, no, Gus and can't think of anyway, Gus, I can't think of the wife, but that was their first settlers home, soldier settlers home in Fishers Road. That was another soldier settlement, and that was the Bedison soldier settlement. That is on the property of Gay and Ian Fishers. And now the next one is the old Bedison house. The Fishers moved this down to their place and used it for a wool shed. But the Bedisons lived further down the road and they had property down the road. And I think most of the Edisons now are found out the other side of Horsham North. Quite a few families. I knew quite a few of the families. And when I went to see one of the Edisons to get some photos and so they could tell their story, in the photos she gave me, I found this incredible picture of the Wimmera Base Hospital when it was being built. Anyway, she said, you know, do what you like with them, but I did return them. I scanned them and returned them because I always feel, you know, one day someone might want them in the family. Now, this is another home which was once near the Melbourne Highway, but down the road towards Taylor's Lake, and it was the Gates's house. Gates's house was moved by Mr. Gates himself. In fact, he was injured when he was moving it with a tractor from that site to nearer to the lake. And when we were taking these photos, it was being rented out. But Gates's later lived in Williams Road. I lived in a orange brick house in Williams Road. Yeah. And Mr. Gates's two daughters were very, very helpful when I did the Drung book. And they didn't live in Horsham, but they come down occasionally. And they were very helpful. And they did the first part of the book. I've written a story that they gave me to put in. Yeah. Now, this is their Gates's woolshed where they had dances. And I know some of you have been to dances there because I've got photos. And that's inside. Didn't have any lining or anything. And that's my granddaughter there. She was always with us on our little tours. And when we were doing the Drung book, we had the Carsons, Jeff and Kath Carson took us for a drive around. And then Robert Jess took us for another drive around. And we would walk through paddocks and it was great. And they'd tell us where everything was, that was where this was and that's where that was. And yeah, very helpful. And that's the orchestra only. There was a ladder to a bit of a platform. Do you remember that, Elaine? Yep. I think that, I wasn't sure who that is. Is it? I was hoping someone would. Oh, yes.
Who's that? She was Florence.
No, it's still, I can't talk.
Her husband, no. One house, she was Forest Wed. Forest Wed, yes, she was.
I didn't know
She
her.
was Florence Bay.
Oh, was she? Yeah.
Second husband.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
Oh, there's
Who's there? And that's Mabel down the front, Mabel Blake. Yeah, and that might be Mabel's husband, Walter, at the back there, is it?
Looks like one.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Elizabeth somewhere. Elizabeth is behind the car.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh, golly.
That's you, Elizabeth.
You reckon it's me?
I reckon it's you.
There you go.
Because that's what they say.
Yeah.
Carlton like to say, Carlton Ballinger.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah. Mm.
That's clearly me.
Who's the little boy, do you know? Yeah. No? Yeah.
Certainly wasn't in here.
Yeah. No, that's Hill's house. Yes, that's more around Helen's Plain, but they're all sort of connected. Yeah, not far away. Now, this is another interesting place. This is Warwick Langley's house on the banks of Taylor's Lake. And when I say banks, right on the banks, but they were a very big bred horses, big heavy horses, and they were very well off people. And then this house was, it was a mud brick house, but it was very nice in its day, which a lot of mud brick houses were. And it was later lived on by the Goyne family. You'd know the Goin family, I suppose. Yeah, right there on the lake. I only went to it later on when it was, well, it was almost gone. Now, this is another very interesting house. This is the Edward and Olivia Eubanks house near Taylor's Lake. They were a couple that they never married, they never had children. They did marry, but they never had children. And they travel in every week on a Friday in a horse and cart. And the lady that used to have the Lacana Hotel told me that they'd come and they'd have dinner in the Blue Room. The Lacana Hotel had a blue room, a little bit flash, well, quite flash, and the Eubanks were quite flash. You know, they were lovely people, but they were quite flash. And they'd leave their horse and buggy in the back. They'd go and do their shopping and have it delivered to the Lacana Hotel. And they'd have afternoon tea in the Blue Room. And this is what's left of their house. And we did get permission to go here. But it was one of the ones we did permission. I think it was owned by the Fishers at this time. Probably still is. Yeah, just we couldn't resist having a look around and taking some photos. And that's inside. They had high ceilings, didn't they? Imagine building that of mud brick. And that's another one of the Eubanks houses, but that's on the south side of the Melbourne Highway. And now we've got the Hobbs house. Did anyone know the Hobbses from out that way? They went to that school and they were just over the bridge, yeah, on the left as you're travelling over the bridge, down a bit, but that's completely in ruins now. That's just another picture of it. And they went on to the Ballingers. The Ballingers are still out there. They helped us a bit with the book, Bob Ballinger. And they were, descendants of it. This is another interesting shed. And this is Matushka's mud brick shed. The house is gone. And unfortunately, they didn't have a picture of the actual house before they pulled it down and built a new house. But it was good, that one, because you could see the mud bricks, you know, how they built them, which was quite a process in the day. And now this is the McGinniskin house at Longrenal. As you're travelling out to past the Longrenal College, a bit further on your left. It's not on the main road of Longrenal Road. It's just off a little bit, but you can see it. And we knew some people who lived there, the McGinniskins, Bill and Murray McGinniskin. And it's beautiful inside, but they don't live there anymore. I don't know who's there now. And here we are. That's just an old house we took photos of near Groce's house, Bernie Groce's house in East Road. Now, this is the ruins of the furthest property. It burnt down. Brian Hutchison from Horsham owned the land for a while, and it burnt down, and that's all that's left of it. And this is the Gross family, I believe. Yeah, that's the original house of Friedrich Gross at Drung. And he's the one that we had a picture of before, the bearded man. And that's the plaque on the Ballygloom and Drung South Stone on the corner of Melbourne Highway and the home road, is it? Yep. It's not the school, it's the other one. And that's the plaque commemorates the soldier settlement at Drung South in 1921 following the Great War. This was the First World plaque. And we had Bells, Gateses, Lampard, Oliver, Smith, Varley, Watson, Brown, Ireland, Neve, Plummer. We had a plumber at the school unveiling. Varley and voids. And that was erected to commemorate two soldier settlers, their wives and family, who settled in March 1920 on the 527 acres of Bedderson's estate. That's over near the Taylor's Lake Hall area, near Fishers, at St Helens Plains after the Great War. That must be called St Helens Plains even from there. I don't know where the cut-off is to Drung, but anyway, that was Fishers, GH and DE Fisher and Matheson's, and it was unveiled on the 20th of January 2003 by John Forrest. And that's the stone in I think it's Fishers Road. What have I done? I haven't finished, surely. No, we're getting there. Sorry about that. Must have pressed the wrong button. There we go. Back to where we were. And that's just the stone in the grass. And that's the this is the one on the Donishans estate, this one. The monument was erected by the Commonwealth for the 7 soldier settlers and their wives. And that was the Brady's, the Longmires, the McIntyres. Can't quite read that, you probably can on there. McManus, yeah, that's right, Sharon was in McManus. Miller, Nelson and Smith.
That's closing it. Whoops, you've done it again.
Yeah, what did I do?
You closed it.
Silly. Wasn't too bright, was it?
It's where that old changes on them.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that because
Bottom one.
there is that old thing. And apparently they told me that was a good meeting place.
Yeah,
The men would meet there and have a chat.
that's just past the Drung golf castle too.
Yes.
Turn left of it first.
Oh yes, yeah, no. Well, we were there, but half the time Helen and I didn't know where we were. We went down all these roads. It was summer.
Get onto it.
Yeah, no, well, we wouldn't go so much in the winter because of where we went, because we didn't want to get bogged. And in summer we had to be very aware of snakes because we walked through a lot of long grass. Yeah. Yep. Now that tank was used to fill water troughs. If you look closely there, you might see a water trough buried in the grass. Now, this is the erected to commemorate the soldiers, settlers, and their wives, families who pioneered irrigation. This is irrigation farmers. Do you want me to read through them, or will we just, yeah? You might recognise some of the names. Yeah, Elderton,
Yeah.
Bretherton, Bell, Buchanan, I knew Helen Buchanan, Carpenters, yep. Cummings, Cutchies, England, I knew Bell England, Bird, Jenner, Kellett, I knew the whole family at Kellett's, Cal, I knew I knew a lot of these, Tags, Wilkies, Kitchells, Leighton, Little, Lloyd, Lines, McLean, McIntosh, Smith, Morrison, there you go, Nix. Yep, I still keep in touch with one of the Nix family who lives up Queensland. Peoples, another Smith, Williams, and another Williams, 2 Williams. Yep. And that was, they arrived there. Later on, Cows and Heppels arrived. And, about 1957, was it? Do you remember, you people?
We came in 1956.
Oh, yeah, round about that time. Yep.
56.
Yep. that's the action. Okay, this is when the Callets arrived. And for their first, while their house was being built, they lived in the shed. Did you have to live in the shed?
We came straight away.
In the garage.
Oh, yeah, no. Well,
The others, by the time we came, our house was one of the first built.
oh, yes,
This was empty while a lot of the others were.
yeah, no. Well, yeah, Mabel Callett gave me some wonderful photos of the area, the irrigation area, and that's Mabel's house, Callett's house, when she was a child, being built there. It's going up, and that's it when it's finished. They all looked a bit similar, didn't they, the houses?
Depends which way they cut.
Oh, yeah, of course they looked a bit different, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, and there's the dairy. Yes, apparently, they were taught that, well, they weren't actually taught, they probably had to learn, but a lot of them built their own dairies. And that's the Callett cementing the dairy, Sid and John Callett. And that's Caleb, that was their house, that was the name of the Callett's house. And they had a beautiful garden. Yeah, well, yeah. And Mabel, of course, had the florist shop for many years later on, and her family have still got it. The three daughters have still got the shop, as far as I know. And that's Walter Blake making the dam, built their own dams. It was a battle, apparently, because it was quite wet in sometimes. Here we are, they're bogged there, the truck's bogged. And there we are, hey, Cardi. That's sort of Sid and his wife, Sid Callett. And there we are, that's a good load of hay. All behind the little tractor. Oops, I better go back to what size I was, hadn't I? This is the Miller house where the Millers lived. And that was later brought by Peter Ryan. And when Peter moved out of it into near Horsham, they did it all up, whoever brought it. And that was in the process of being built up there. Okay, now we're back to the picnic. That's Walter and Mabel. And there we are. That's the nail hammering. Yep. There we go. Get it to the right size. This computer's very touchy. Got to be careful. And here we are. The ladies' race. Mine's got the same noise. I thought I didn't bring it in. Yep, that's the ladies' race at another school picnic. Children. Oh, we know what to do here. There we go. Fixed it, didn't it? I thought there was enough battery, but there wasn't. Just running out. And there we are, all at the picnic. I love the pram. Cute little pram, isn't it? Let's see if I can get it a bit here. No, that's as big as that one will go. Okay. During the war, they had stamps. And this is Leon Woodhart's stamp, saving stamps to buy things with. Here we go. As I said, Drung was a very wet area. And that's taken at Rose's house. When Mabel Callett turned a certain age in 1957, she was given a camera and she took photos and photos and photos, and it was just absolutely marvellous because she took them of the swimming pool, she took them of the Church of England being built. Oh my goodness. And she gave me access to all her photos, which I scanned, and it was just marvellous. She took a lot of these photos. That's Bob Bellinger and his son. Where am I up to? So I know who they are. That's Bob Bellinger and his father, Bert. I think Bob's died now, but it wasn't that long ago. And that's one of the Bellingers. There we go. That was Flo Pianta. She was a Bellinger. And that was at Bob Bellinger's wedding. She lived to a grand age, and she lived in Prize Lane. And we went and talked to her. She gave us a lot of information on the Bellinger family, which was a family that wrote the story for the book for us. And that's some of her family. Is this playing up now, this thing? Doesn't want to behave. There we go. And those people are Vicky Matthews, Ina Wallace, she was a Bellinger, Judy Withell, and her granddaughter Belinda. And this is Bill Purvis. Bill didn't mind a grog. Bill didn't mind a beer or two, they tell me, but that's what happened. He crashed into a tree. I didn't know him. And this is the Woodhart family, I believe. Yep, Woodhart. Len, Lynn, Frank, Jack, and Eric. And this is the original, not the Woodhouse, but Lorna's family, the Millses' mud brick house. And that was out near where the goat farm is now. Liddy's goat, I don't think it's called that. I can't think of the name of the goat farm, but you know who I mean. That's right. Yep, that's it. Just couldn't think of it. Yep. But as you see, that was an old mud brick house and in need of repair. And there we go. After it had extensions, that's the same house. You wouldn't believe it, would you? But anyway, because of the wet area in the Mills Day, they built a big levee bank around the house. Wouldn't be too good, I suppose, if the mud got into the water got into the mud brick. And that's another house that was out there at the farm, the Coke farm, and that was moved from the corner of Urquhart and Barley Street. And some elderly sisters lived there. The name just evades me at the moment, but it was come up beautiful. It wasn't two-story, but when they moved it out there, they made it into a two-storied house. But it's beautiful. And this is the shearing shed at the goat, Sylvania Park. And then they hold events like weddings and that out there. And the day we went out there to see them, they were set up for a wedding. And as you see, it was beautifully set up. Yep. Now that's all of those slides. How are we going for time?
Right.
Plenty of time, right? Well, I've got some pictures here of the plaque unveiling. Of the Drung school near the river. Here we go. And you might know some of the people here. Jim Hurd, And I don't know, I should know that lady. She was a school teacher, I think. I'll just flick through these and you can see some of the people that were there. We got quite a crowd, which was very pleasing. There's Helen Kirkpatrick there. Jim doing his bit. Jim has unveiled many school plaques over his day. He's too unwell now to do it, but the Rotary Club have unveiled so many plaques of schools around the area, which is amazing. Here we are. There's some of the people there. I don't know all their names, but some of them look very familiar. There's Barry Rose. That's my son-in-law standing beside Jim Hurd, the tall one. Oh, is it?
Sunglasses behind Guy Fisher. Guy Fisher in the
Oh, there. Amazing. Yeah. Yep, very good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, they were really good times. That's my husband there. And that's Helen Kirkpatrick there. These are just all speeches and oh yes, yep. There you go. You know a lot of them. Yep. Is that Miller? The Black Miller, Peter? Yeah. And there's Lorna, Jim and Barry actually unveiling the plaque. That's my sister there, Jane Rogers. There it is. I don't want to close now. No. I'm not going to bring it up because I keep messing it up when I try. Speeches. We had a few speeches. Oh, yeah, there's my Max Cudahy. There we go. Just flick through these. We had a couple of old teachers there. I don't know whether I can't see them in any of the photos as yet, but they turned up for the day. And a few people had a talk, just telling their days, what the school was like, and some interesting stories. And some funny stories. They were very lucky. It was a lovely day. There's my husband there and me. Oh, yeah, there's yeah, Jeff and Cass Carlson, and there's me. Oh yes. Yeah. Now it was really a great day. Max here. There's the crowd all together. Okay, now this is the boards that I just did for the afternoon tea. We had the most marvellous afternoon tea with all those country ladies cooking again, and everyone brought something, and we had it in their Drung golf club rooms. And there someone brought some toys that they made at school when they went to school. I'd been one of the hoistlers. And there's a school case of someone much battered. That's just the board. I won't turn it around. I don't want to play. And there's the room set up ready. That's my sister. She helped wait on the, heat the food and wait on it. We had sausage rolls. Oh, we had everything. All these beautiful cream cakes, toasties. Yes, it was, very good. I'll just flick through these again. There's, what's your name here? Yeah. And there's Peter Miller's car. I had to take a photo of that. It was so different. Okay, folks, that's about all now. Has anyone got any questions? I don't know whether I'll be able to answer them, but I'll give it a shot. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's the old Wimmera Base Hospital. Wasn't Wimmera Base then, it was just Horsham Hospital. Yep. Yes, I love that picture. That's where I've got it on my computer.
That's not the one before. That's the one behind.
Yeah. The where do you remember the ward?
Where Carriage on.
Yeah,
Carriage on was first.
near there. Yep, near there.
When I started my training, first fortnight or so, we had to live in there.
Oh, yes.
Because our nursing home had been very good.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then we went to home six.
Yep.
Then had to graduate through.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
And that's where I had my first spoke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that was the side entrance from Robinson Street. And I used to go to work in that door, and then I'd go up here to Ward 6, which was up there. That was added on to, of course.
That was further.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Further down.
Yep.
You're talking about the old hospital.
Yes, yeah.
5 cent.
Yep.
This was down further.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Further down, right?
Yep. Okay. Yep. No worries. Yep. Thanks for helping me. Yep. No, that's good. So I hope you enjoyed it, people.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
Thank you very much, Wendy. It was very interesting bit to see the old times and what was here. It was lovely to be associated with any of our history. We're losing it so quick. And I think it's so important we retain what we can of it. And just looking at the hospital, I can remember many times I spent in Ward 7 with Sister Craig.
Oh,
Yeah, Sister Craig. I remember we were in there one time and
he was.
oh,
I might have noticed you.
with the roaring 60s.
I trained late 60s.
Yeah,
I trained 59.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So you were
59.
you were a bit before me.
and it was a real joke. Kenny Homyard, you may remember Kenny Homyard. Kenny used to be in, I was in Ward 7 there. And Kenny, there was a nurse, an area down there where the nurse sat, or like a little office. And she was out for some reason. And the phone went, and Kenny Homyard staggered out of his bed, went down and answered it. He's talking to some lady that asked for a patient in there. That, I don't know what was wrong with him. Kenny was spinning a great yarn. Oh, then I remember the bloke came in the bed alongside me, and he kept calling out for his clothes. He said, "I'm not staying here. I don't belong here. I got to get out of here." And Sister Craig said, "Okay, you want all your clothes brought in, everything you wore when you came in?" He said, "Yeah." And she brought in a pair of socks and a pair of underpants. She said, "That's what you came in." Yeah, anyhow, thanks again, Wendy. Our next meeting will be on the 24th of August. And I'll be doing it, and it's the first fleet. And we very nearly had Australia. And never even, it looked like it wasn't even going to begin, thanks to the Americans. And it's pretty interesting when I researched what happened. And the ship that they came out on, and life on the ship and when they arrived and all that. So anybody interested in that, come along and be welcome. Anyhow, I think that's about all. Anyone got anything else to say? Would like
Yeah, I do.
comment on it?
I've got something to remind her.
Oh yeah, thanks. Thank you for your part, Trish. We'll be buggered without you here.
Just to remind you from the technical point of view, there's going to be an alarm come over your phones at 2:00 this afternoon. So your phone's going to vibrate and put out a loud alarm for about 10 seconds. So you don't need to do anything, don't need to worry about it. It will stop after about 10 seconds. The government is just testing a new alert system. So
You'll probably go and block the door. Bill at the post office.
I don't know what it's going to sound like. I reckon they should have just stuck with the old air raid siren. That would have done enough for an alarm. But yeah, that's what's going to happen this
The only
afternoon.
one that's going to worry about it is the Ellen lady. She'll be better. When if you've seen the cartoon, The Herald Sun today, she'll be quite concerned there.
Yeah, so 2:00 this afternoon. Thanks, bye.
Okay,
Yes, even though I'm expecting it, I better jump when it goes up.
Yeah, it's only going to go for about 10 seconds. So a bit more.
yeah, that's well. It's lovely to have a long through the area. Members kept filling that. That was the last warning for Horsham. Probably soon, sign for the bridge.
Yeah, I saw so much.
Yeah.
Probably thought, what's that?
Yeah. Were you warm enough?
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, and this thing here is the bridge this afternoon, yeah.
Mm.
All right, there you go.
No, I don't.